Hi, welcome to our fourth episode of Meet the Candidate. This is Sam Buban for Joseph Buban's YouTube channel. With me today is Duy Nguyen. He's running for the State Assembly in District 8. So I'm gonna have to ask a few questions so we get to know him. So first of all, Duy, tell us where exactly is District 8?
Great. Well, thank you for the question and thank you for having me here.
Sure.
Magandang hapon.
Magandang hapon po.
The District 8, I brought the map. It's going to be hard to see on the screen, but basically the boundary over here is Durango. And then the boundary out here is Blue Diamond. Going down here to Cactus, over to Pile, and then go up to Valley View, Silverado Ranch, cross over to 15 on Las Vegas Boulevard, and head back here onto Blue Diamond, down up to Decatur, and then Warm Spring, and then head up to 215 and all the way back here to Durango. So this is the boundary of District 8, which is majority of Southwest Las Vegas.
Oh, so basically your district is a neighbor to Michelle Gourlow's district.
Yes, so Assemblywoman Warlow
District
is right
9.
here at 35,
Yes.
and then Assemblyman Steve Yeager is here on 9, and then Assemblywoman Tracy Brown May is 42, and then Assemblywoman Cecilia Gonzalez is 16, and then Assemblywoman Sandra Harrigy is 41. So I am surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 districts.
Okay, my home district is District 9, which would be Steve Yeager.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, that would be it. So we are in the heart of one of the fastest growing Asian Pacific Islander population in Nevada,
Mhm.
the home to Seafood City and a Jollibee.
All right. So, Yue, you're running for this seat for the first time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And who you won the primary?
I did not have one.
You didn't have an
Yes.
primary because you didn't have an opponent.
Correct.
All right, wonderful. So, what are some of the important things you wish to be able to accomplish for the people of Nevada while you are in the state assembly?
Thank you for the question. And there's a lot of fascinating thing about my district, District 8, which is, like I said earlier, the fastest growing Asian Pacific Islander population in the entire state, right here in District 8. It's very important that there is a diverse representation inside the legislature. Just a little bit about myself and leading into what I want to do is that I'm an immigrant. I came into the United States when I was 11.
All right.
So I still speak fluently Vietnamese. I'm a Vietnamese American.
Mhm.
And District 8 is one of the most diverse districts in the state where a large population is Asian Pacific Islanders. And it's very important for our community to have a voice in the state legislature.
Yes.
And my 3 priorities are education, making sure that students' achievement are our first priorities.
Yes.
I'm a parent.
Ah,
I have 2
okay.
young children. My son is in 3rd grade
Mhm.
at Clark County Public School, and my daughter is about to be 3 years old, and she is, in daycare programs right now.
You
So
started late.
we definitely take our time.
Okay.
So I think the wishes of all parents are for their kids to do well in
Yes.
school.
Mhm.
So education is definitely a priority, and we have a very large school district here in Nevada, and we have a lot of opportunity to really create more access for our students,
Yes.
as well as training them to be ready for the workforce. And so we definitely need to set up this foundation the right way.
Uh-huh.
I also come from a small business family where my family have retail business and have restaurants and have they are basically employers
Yes.
as well. But these are the heart of our district, where there's a large growth of small business inside District A and also statewide. So it's important for us to invest in our small business, to create and to enhance the small business community, because the small business community are the backbone of our state economy.
All right.
And a lot of Asian Pacific Islander immigrants and folks that have been here for many generations are small business owners,
Yes.
and they need a voice in the legislature, and I plan to be that voice.
Okay.
And then another important priority for me would be healthcare. As you all know, healthcare is one of the most important topics outside of education, and affordable healthcare and accessible healthcare, especially with language access to our communities, our aging community,
Right.
ensuring that folks get their care they need, and of course, making sure that it's accessible,
Yes.
and that's very important. And I think those would be some of the most important priorities as a legislature, to look at these three areas.
Very good. Good to hear that. District 8 had never been represented before by an Asian American or Pacific Islander, correct?
Correct.
So you'll be the first to run for that office, and hopefully you'll be the first to represent the AAPI in that district. Okay. I forgot to. Can you tell us, besides being a entrepreneur, what is your professional background? Can you tell us more about yourself?
Thank you. I have many hats, and one of those that I'm really fortunate to have the role is I am part of a nonprofit called Asian Community Development Council.
Oh,
ACDC.
ACDC.
Yes.
Okay.
So the organization was founded in 2015 to really enhance the lives of the Asian American Pacific Islander community here in Nevada. As you know, we have many languages and culture, not just, check the box and you're done, right? There's so many different ethnicity, which the Filipino community is the biggest community right here in Nevada. And even within the Filipino community, there's just so many different dialects and different cultures that people are not aware of. So ACDC is really here to ensure that folks have access to the needed services in terms of health, in terms of housing, in terms of education, in terms of civic engagement, and the ability to have better lives. And a lot of times the immigrant community, or even the community that have been here for many generations, they kind of stick to themselves and not be able to learn and see what's going on out there, and how organizations like us, or even state and local as well as federal government, can collaborate and work with these communities to make sure that everyone have what they need. So I'm very privileged to be in this work. We did so much in the last 7 years, especially during the pandemic. We provided food for over 12,000 individuals and families, and not just food that is every day, but is much more culturally sensitive food for us, that are something that the Asian household eats. So that's very important, because you want to be able to meet the needs, because a lot of times folks think that everybody has the same need. For us, because of the language access and the ability to create needs, or create opportunities for us to meet the needs, we have the ability to work with our community much more closer, and all of our staff, including myself, speak another Asian language. So that helps our community, for those who have challenging scenarios.
It it never ceased to amaze me that a lot of our or almost all our Democratic Democratic candidates running for office they have education and healthcare in mind. You know, it's really for the people. Okay? It's disconcerting to many when in other states, state legislatures are declaring war against teachers, like Florida. You know, it's like that's why you know it's as worse the working environment there for teacher I could imagine is as worse than just being low paid teachers. I know we're still struggling trying to adopt a higher pay scale for Nevada because of our financial situation. But I think it's worse when the governor and the state assembly itself are against the teachers. So it's good that many of the candidates I have interviewed really put the education and the healthcare as a priority in in legislation. So thank you for sharing all those wonderful background you had in your like your lifetime and your career. Uh, I'm not sure you might be comfortable answering this question. Name one national issue that when you are at the state assembly, you'll have a chance to legislate on such issue that you are willing to work with uh, or reach out to those in the other side of the aisle. What national big important issue you could think of that that it has to be uh, either you're reaching out to most assembly members or even to the other side of the aisle.
I think we have a lot of things that we can discuss in terms of how our government can work for our community. This is a national issue that's been a long part of the conversation is this comprehensive immigration reform piece, right? I'm an immigrant.
Yeah.
I came here to reunite with my father, who, by the way, was one of the boat people who left Vietnam, ended in the Philippines,
Yes.
and then got sponsored to be in the United States.
Right.
And there are many of those who were arrived in the States by many different reasons.
Right.
And the conversations about ensuring that everybody should have an opportunity to get education, to be able to provide for their family, and to have basic health care. Those are all fundamental rights
Yes.
as a modernized society, right? It
Right.
shouldn't be a federal issue or a state issue. It should be a human issue.
Yes.
As
I
you
agree.
know, many of us immigrant has been here for many generation. Is that everybody here? We have a lot more in common than we have differences, and so we want to make sure that we put food on the table.
Yeah.
We have clothes on our back, and we have roof over our head, and we want to make sure that our children and family are successful. Even though immigration, it is a federal
Yes.
issue, I think, from a state level, I think, when I'm elected to be the assembly, and I'm not just going to be up there as a Democrat. The minute I'm elected, I represent everybody, right?
Correct. Yes.
And when I talk to across the aisle, I need to make sure that everyone understand that this is fundamental rights,
Yes.
fundamental issues like healthcare and education. Those are the basics, and
Right.
it doesn't really distinguish whether you are a citizen or you're permanent residents or you're undocumented, because everybody wants to have those basics,
Yes.
and you shouldn't be a second class citizen just because of your status.
Right.
And I think
Right.
us as a community can have a bigger voice because everything start local. That's
Yes.
how how we can affect changes, is that it start from our city, county to state and to our national policy, so that it does reflect the everyday people.
Yes.
And I believe that everyone in the conversation can relate to those basic needs. And I think those are the things that doesn't matter what role I hold. Those are the things that are the basic principle that I believe in. That we all should come together and ensuring that those basic needs are met
Yes.
before we get anything else.
All right. There's a follow-up question. Actually, it's not a follow-up question. If you're elected to the state assembly, what committee are you eyeing for right now?
I think with my corporate background and small business background and nonprofit background as an employer myself,
Yes.
I think I really want to work on commerce and labor issues
Yes.
because it does affect a lot of us,
Right.
and
right.
ensuring that we have a future that everyone can count on.
Yes.
I know a lot of my colleagues has talked about education, which is of course important, but not all of us can be in that committee.
Yeah,
So I
correct.
definitely would want to add our voice into the conversation where commerce and labor issues that are affecting our everyday
Right.
economy has a new perspective. So
Wonderful.
that's definitely a wish that I can go on and represent
Yes.
this community.
I think you're gonna be you're gonna do well in that committee if ever you know. Okay, this will be my final question. Assume you're speaking largely to the Vietnamese American and the Filipino American community, because this is a Filipino American community outlet. What would you tell them to vote for you?
Well, I would say that I am an immigrant. I am Asian American. I have been working for 2 decades in the Las Vegas community, ensuring that our voice is at the table. And our community is the fastest growing community right now in the United States, right here in Nevada,
Oh.
with the Filipino American community being the largest, and the Vietnamese American community is growing leaps and bounds here too. And so I'm very proud to be the first Vietnamese immigrant to run for this role, but also to serve and to be able to really bring a new perspective to Carson City. We are all very diverse and we're very unique, and District 8 is one of the most diverse districts in the state of Nevada, with 1 out of every 4 residents in District 8 are API. So that is really
That's
a powerful statement, right?
Right.
And we need to have someone that understand what the community is going through and
Absolutely.
know
Yeah.
our needs.
Mhm.
And so, whether I'm talking to a Vietnamese American community or a Filipino American community or a Chinese or Korean
Yes.
or the many others ethnicity that lives in District 8 and statewide, I really want and encourage everyone to participate in the process,
Yes.
to go out and learn about who the candidates are, learn about how they can impact the
Right.
community,
Right.
and make sure that our needs and our wants are visible to the people that make the decisions,
All
because we have to be at the table where decisions are made. And I think those are things that I encourage, whether you are
right. Mhm.
18 or 88, let's make sure that the folks that are elected to serve our community make sure that they know about the things that are important to us, and that we need to be very vocal. So those are the things that I really would like our Asian community to be very, very engaged, and that's how we can create a better future for all of us.
All right. Well said. So For those of you who haven't registered yet, there's still time to register to vote and vote on election day, November 8th. And there are also, you have to watch out also for early voting. Don't waste your privilege and your right to vote. So thank you, Duy Nguyen, for coming to talk with us, and good luck on your race. And so remember, Duy Nguyen, District 8, State Assembly, Nevada State Assembly District 8.
Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat.